You had your eye on Zach LaVine for a long time, not just because of the highlight dunks, because of his game.
He can ball.
And he's got a well-rounded game. Well, he's in the news because of the way that the Bulls and their analytics department wanted him to adjust his style.
No.
Here is what he said. He said the following quote.
No.
I know, ain't this crazy? I mean, I grew up being a Michael Jordan Kobe fan. I know that some of the greatest scorers in NBA history were mid-range, mid-post guys. It's sad to see it be pushed to the side. I think it takes away a little bit of the skillfulness and it takes away some of the weaponry. But I'll tell you this, there's still guys in the NBA, and I think I'm one of them, that can still get it done. Jalen Rose. I watched a lot of Jalen Rose basketball in my day. You could hit threes. You could finish around the hoop. But I'd say like 75% of your buckets came from the mid-range.
No doubt.
What do you think of the analytics department asking Zach LaVine to adjust his game?
Just let me cook on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Analytics destroy baseball. Analytics is destroying basketball to the point where the three-point line will get moved back and the quarter three is going to get eliminated. For everybody that has not played the game, I want you to understand something. I said the Toronto Raptors were going to win the championship for a couple of reasons. One, I knew Kevin Durant was injured. Two, Kawhi Leonard, their best player, plays in all phases. Mm-hmm. And why does that matter? A few years ago when the Houston Rockets were playing against the San Antonio Spurs, I remember saying all the Spurs have to do is suffocate the three-point line,
Protect the rim.
have Tim Duncan rim protect because they're not playing mid-range. So the numbers say one thing, but guess what? You're going against the best players in the world. And if I know where you're going to be, the percentage of your play is going to be lessened because I'm going to be there to contest it. You got to use the entire floor. And if I'm up on you at the three, you got to also play in rhythm, okay? So if you pump faking at the three line and you take one or two dribbles and that 18-footer's there, you got to knock it down.
Well, there's this too. Like, let's just take a look at some of Zach LaVine's numbers when he, talks about his abilities in the mid-range. This is shooting by location. In the paint, you see shoots over 50%. That's good. Mid-range shoots less. That looks like less than 40%, or right around 40%. And three-pointer, again, pretty efficient, over around 40%. So you can see by those numbers why the numbers alone would tell you to adjust your game, but the numbers alone shouldn't dictate your strategy on the basketball court. Because we talk about this. Regular season, you're not scouted that much. People show up. Playoff basketball, if I know your tendencies, if playoff basketball, if I'm playing you game 1, game 2, game 3, game 4, game 5, and you only score from 2 places on the court, it makes you easy to defend.
This is why Kevin Durant has elevated himself into arguably the most complete scorer in the history of the league. Mm-hmm. Because 40 plus from three, kill you from the elbows, kill you from the boxes, can still finish at the hoop, can make his free throws. That's what makes you a terrific offensive player, being well-rounded, not just shooting threes and layups. I know that's Houston's style of play, and James Harden has become unique at that aspect, but that's one player.
Just because James Harden can do it, and Steph Curry can do it too. He can finish. He's one of the best finishers, underrated finisher, and he shoots great threes. But just because these players can do it doesn't mean every player should do it. Look at Zach LaVine's build. Look at his build. He's going to be covered by shooting guards who are going to be smaller than him. Do you know what that sounds like? An opportunity to score in the mid-range. That's what it sounds like to me.
Put somebody on your hip, turn either way.
You know what I would challenge the Bulls coaching staff to do? Instead of saying, hey, this is what you've scored in the mid-range, it's inefficient, I would say, what can we as a coaching staff do? Raise his efficiency in the mid-range. What plays can we run? Where can we get him better opportunities so he becomes more efficient in the mid-range instead of trying to limit those number of mid-range shots?
Absolutely. And I talked about this, I think it was in the New York Times, how the idea of analytics, while it supports so many things within the game, it should be a tool, not the toolbox.
Yes.
In this case, they're doing it in reverse. And as a young player, now just think about what's going to happen now. He's going to be conscious of that while he's playing. Instead of being free and playing with the rhythm, when somebody could test him at the three, he's going to be like Melo was when he tried to play with Houston. And I told y'all that was going to be a disaster. When he did the pump fake and he made it 2, he looked over at the bench and he was forced to apologize.
You want to know what my favorite part of this story is, Jalen? Of course, Kevin Durant got involved on Twitter. Kevin Durant got involved on Twitter, started going back and forth. You know how I feel about Kevin Durant on Twitter. I've gone 180. I used to be like, what is this guy doing? Why is he engaging with these people? And now I fully support Kevin Durant expressing himself on Twitter. I love Kevin Durant's Twitter fingers.
And as I think about great scorers in the history of the NBA, and as I talked about Melo not being in the league, why ain't Jamal Crawford in the NBA right now? Do you know he averaged 30 in April last year? He scored 50 in the game last year.
Last game, I forgot what happened.
He's the only player in the history of the league to score 50 for 4 teams.
Listen,
why is he not on the squad?
Because they're holding roster spots for your comeback. That's why, Jalen Rose.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports analysis and highlights, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.